welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you the best TTC tips I ever received from friends or family or people on message boards in some of those really great like fertility ovulation tracking apps. And in case you didn't know, TTC stands for trying to conceive. So if you're like me, when you start trying to conceive, it's really nice to find a bit of a support system with friends and family, or like I mentioned, through those apps. When I was first trying to conceive, I wasn't as well educated as I wish I would have been, and so it really helped getting some of these tips from friends and family. And then of course like watching YouTube videos and stuff really helped too. So I hope that these tips are really useful for you if you are trying to conceive. So let's jump into it. One of the best TTC tips I ever received was to use ovulation fertility tracking apps. And I've mentioned before in some of my other videos, my two favorite are Ovia and Clue. Clue is a period tracking app, and I really liked it, especially when I was new to the whole like period tracking, ovulation tracking world. Clue is very user friendly. It's a really fantastic, easy way of tracking your period. And what I really love about it is it's like, I guess, I don't know, do you call it like an interface? I am not like super tech savvy, but this display of the app, here I'll show you, is really just like easy to understand. And again, as someone who, I don't know, I'm not obviously like make videos and stuff, so it's not like I don't know things about apps and tech and stuff like that. But at the moment, like when I first started, sorry, I haven't used this app in a while, and apparently they updated their terms of services. Agree. It's just really easy to use. So this is what the app looks like. And when you input your data, now I was pregnant and my son is 3 months old, so I haven't had my period or haven't been tracking my period for like over a year now. But when you do, it'll show like in red where they predict you'll get your period, and then you can input data on the other days. So it'll show you like your fertile window, which is that like little blue section there. Like I said, it'll show you when they predict that you'll get your period. And I just, again, I thought it was really easy to use, liked how it looked. The Ovia app I felt is just a little bit more in-depth than Clue. There are definitely more categories. I'll show you. So just like with Ovia, there's going to be a section now on the Ovia app. I don't know if you can see that, but on the Ovia app, it goes by the month. And so you can see the month in like calendar form versus that sort of like circular fun design. And it'll show you, again, it'll predict your fertile window. It'll predict when you are going to get your next period. You can input things like your health, your mood, and other things that could potentially impact your fertility or like your ovulation for that month. So those apps were extremely helpful for tracking my cycle and for getting to understand when I was ovulating and when my fertile window was. So I would highly recommend you check out those two apps, or use an app in general. I think that there are probably a lot of great apps out there. Do a little bit of research. I would recommend like downloading a few of them onto your phone and then using them, starting to use them, and then you'll slowly start to weed out which apps work for you and which ones don't. Then once you become familiar with your cycle and you get to know when your fertile window is or when it's predicted to be, one of the best tips I was given was to use ovulation strips. Now, ovulation strips are very much like pregnancy tests, like little strips. They look pretty well the same. I got mine off Amazon. I love them. I'll link them down below. But they're little strips that you pee on, and if you are ovulating, or if you're within that window of ovulation, 2 stripes will come up versus 1. So if 1 comes up, that means that you're not in your like fertile window. If 2 come up, then you are. And so it can be just a good indicator for you. I think the strips indicate that you are going to release an egg in 12 to 24 hours. So you can have sex that day, you can have sex the next day, and there's a really great chance that you'll get pregnant. And I just found those to be very useful, because I'm the type of person where like I want to know exactly when things are happening, when they're happening. And there's no like 100% definitive way of knowing when you're releasing an egg, but an ovulation test strip is a really just great indicator for you. And I don't know, I found it just really uplifting when we were trying to get some sort of like positive indication that I was fertile and that I was releasing an egg and ovulating. And you can input that data into I know you can input it into the Ovia app if you get a positive ovulation strip. I don't know if you can put that in Clue, but it really helped keep me focused and adjust my calendar if my fertility window was a little bit off, if the app had predicted it to be a little bit off. So I would highly recommend using ovulation strips. Now, the con to the ovulation strips is that they obviously are not 100%, and it can also make you feel a little bit crazy. I became a little bit obsessive with like knowing exactly when I was ovulating, and even though you might get a positive ovulation test strip, it doesn't necessarily mean that like when you have sex on that day that you're guaranteed pregnancy, right? So just keep that in mind if you decide to use them. And one of the best TTC tips I got was from a message board, and it was not to take a pregnancy test during the 2-week wait. For those of you who are in this whole TTC journey, if you've been in it for a little while, then you'll know what the 2-week wait is, TWW. The 2-week wait is like one of the more brutal 2 weeks. It goes by so slowly. It's that period of time after you've released an egg, after you've had sex, and you're waiting to be able to take a pregnancy test. If your fertilized egg gets implanted into your womb, you have to wait 2 weeks after that happens. Otherwise, you can get a false negative pregnancy test. So it takes a certain amount of time, normally 2 weeks, for your body to produce enough HCG, which is the like pregnancy hormone that will indicate via a pregnancy test that you are pregnant. So if you take a pregnancy test too early, you risk getting a false negative, which can be really discouraging and make you think that you're not pregnant when in fact you are. I have no patience. It's one of my biggest character flaws. I have no patience. So I'm not gonna lie, there were times, and if you watched, I actually recorded my 2-week wait period when I got pregnant with Hugo, and there were days where I was taking my pregnancy test too early and it was coming up negative, even though I was pregnant, eventually got pregnant with Hugo during that time. So it's tricky, because if you're like me and you're not patient, you will definitely want to take a pregnancy test. And again, like for me, it was like all I could think about during those 2 weeks. I was like, I could be pregnant right this second, and I wanted to take a pregnancy test because even if the faintest line came up, like it was still a line. But everyone on the message boards told me, do not do it, don't take it, because you'll play mind games with yourself, and you're already during that time going through a lot, and it's a lot emotionally. So just wait if you can, just wait. And the last TTC tip I got that I found really helpful in easing all the anxieties and I don't know, all the ideas that start coming into your head is that there is no ideal position for sperm to travel to your egg. Now that is going to sound really silly, but I thought that like after you have sex, if you sit upside down or if you go upside down, the sperm will stay in your uterus and travel to the egg and have less of a chance of coming out and lessening your chances for getting pregnant. And apparently that is not scientifically true, and there is no scientific evidence or truth to that statement. So hopefully that makes you feel better. That was a tip I got from a friend of mine who was like, sorry, you're doing what after you guys have sex? Like that's not gonna change anything. Apparently gravity does not affect sperm's ability to travel to your egg. So yeah, that is not something that you need to worry about. Okay guys, those are all of the best TTC tips that I received personally. Let me know in the comments if there are any trying to conceive TTC tips that you received that you found really beneficial and that you want to share with everyone. Don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I will talk to y'all really soon. Bye guys!